First race on our program here today is the Madison points race for the elites, the Junior A men. Now to the rail. Welcome to Fred's race here at the Velodrome. It's late in our season. We just have a little bit left here in 2023, and one of the things we want to do before the season's over is make sure we have our regional championships for riders in our area to throw down in a variety of events over this weekend here at Fred's race. First up, this Madison race will be a team event. 30 laps on the cards. We'll talk a little bit about them as they're out and about during the race. Again, first up, this is the Elite and Junior A men for their Madison points race. On deck, we've got the Elite Masters and Junior women for their Madison points race coming up after this race. And off we go. The points race format for the Madison. A relatively small event here today. We've got 4 teams, so a total of 8 riders. The riders will be competing in a points race format, which means that they will be scored just like a normal points race, but in groups of 2. Their partner out there, of course, wearing the same jersey, so you can see from pretty far away who the partners are. We've got Team Green currently on the lead of the action right now. When it's time for the exchange, you'll see riders put out the hand and do a toss in to exchange their momentum and give a chance for the next rider to take the lead spot. In a 6x5 format, there's 6 chances to sprint every 5 laps, so the first bell will be at 26 to go. In fact, there you're seeing one exchange over there in turn 1 as it looks like Andy Baker gets brought in for his effort. Now he comes up to the front of the field. A little bit smaller of a Friday night. Again, we're kind of coming to the end of our season, but thank you if you did make your way out here to the Velodrome to cheer on our riders. We appreciate you being here with us. And if you're tuning in on the YouTube live stream, of course, thank you for tuning in as well and checking out the racing action here today. Fred's race is always an interesting event. There's a lot of categories, a lot of age groups. It's very separated, sometimes some small fields, but the point of Fred's race all comes back down to the mission of Fred C. Rayberger, one of our good friends of the Velodrome who passed away, unfortunately, and in his remembrance, this race was started, and his whole thing was bring people out to the Velodrome, support as many people as you can. He was a very optimistic, very supportive, and powerful force here in the community. In his remembrance, we do this race every year as our regional championships with the idea everybody should come out to the Velodrome and compete. So the juniors get a spot on the top of the podium. Our masters of all the different age-based groups get to compete and be up on the podium as well. And new this year, the elites actually get pulled out in a pretty big fashion, so there's a few less riders that are going to be here over the course of the weekend. But that's all to make sure we have the space for all of the athletes that are here to be celebrated for what they're working on here today. And of course, this just the very beginning of this this Madison race, the first bell now ringing. Good sprint here for Team Yellow on the early point sprint. 25 to go. Team Yellow will take the first 5. Green coming across the line next. It looks like Carl Hofer. Ooh, a good sprint there. Looks like it'll be Andy Baker for his team coming across the line next for 2 points. So far, it's Team Yellow for the Broadmark sponsored jersey there. Team 3 in the lead with 5 points. Team Green for the Lake Hills Montessori School. They're wearing bib number 5 in second place with 3 points. The 90s style Madison jersey wearing team number 9 in third with 2. Your riders with 1 point would be the Vi-13 black team, number 13. Now a nice move here. Looks like Will Fowler trying to move up for his black team here. Looking for the counterattack from Green. As right now, it's basically Yellow riding away from this field of 3 teams. Yellow makes the exchange on this bell lap. They will be picking up the 5 comfortably. The sprint behind them. Looks like Green has managed to get away. So Team 3 for the Broadmark colors will pick up the 5. That's Chris Wilson currently wearing the green colors of Team 5 coming across next for points. Andy Baker, number 9, picking up 2. And our young team between Spranger and Fowler coming across the line next, get 1. Team Yellow totally in control at the moment, both on positioning and with points. Currently with 10 to their name, and a nice effort here again to try to separate themselves from the rest of the field. It's basically pulling apart at this stage of the races. We got one team every about 50 or 60 meters. There's another rider. Team Green just coming into turn 3. There's Team 9, the 90s inspired retro vibe team there over back on the back straight, and of course Team Black trying to chase them down. Seeing 17 to go. Bell next time around for points. The rider for Yellow, that's Andrew Martin currently in the action, usually wearing the colors of 10-Speed Hero. Right now wearing the yellow for the Broadmark team, number 3. Picking up yet another 5, bringing their points totals up to 15. Lake Hills Montessori looks to be Carl Hofer coming on the home straight, I believe. Should find another 3 points, good for 9 now. Chip Chase in the number 9 jersey, picking up 2 more, make it 6. And your Vi-13 black jersey, that's Joe Spranger, currently gets 1 more, make it 3 points for them. They got the bell last time. It sounds like, though to be confirmed by the officials, I believe Black has been caught by the leader and down the lap. As a result, they are eligible for the points, but minus 20 in the process. That puts them down to negative 17, but they are here in the sprint. Team Yellow will hold on enough for another 5. Black picks up 3 this time. That leaves 2 points for Team Green and 1 point for Team 9. I have the unofficial points for your top 3 teams. Team Yellow with 20, Team Green with 11, Team 9, the 90s Madison jersey with 7. Your leaders are the combination of Team Black and Yellow on the track, though by the points, Yellow with the much stronger position here as they caught Team Black, putting them down the lap. Now getting more bells here at 6 to go. Both Black and Yellow eligible for points next time around. They're about a halfway around the track up from the chasing teams. Also beginning the bell, fighting over 2 and 1 between these two squads. Outclassing the champion or this ride here today, Team Yellow, really all over this track this evening. Looking very strong and ready for this Madison today. We'll continue to find another 5 points at 5 to go. 1 sprint remaining. Team Black finds 3 in this effort. And what was a group ride here for a moment between our two chasing groups, now Green pulls away and once again finds points in front of Team 9, as it will be the 90s Madison jersey picking up 1 point this time. All 4 teams in order. Team Yellow, 25. Team Green, 13. 90s jersey, 8. Vither Team Black, negative 11. Only 1 bell remaining in the contest now. Again, Yellow's picked up basically the win in each of these sprints. Just 1 more ahead of them to try and collect, and they've already pulled away from Team Black, leaving them all alone on the track. About a half lap up from the chasing team on the same lap as them, Team Green, who's just now coming out of turn 2 onto the back straight. So not a lot of contest here for our leaders, who now cut another hand exchange at 2 to go. 2 to go for Team Yellow. One to go. Team Broadmark getting a little bit of help there from the infield. Impressed with their effort here today. Great athleticism for this lead group. Really made it no contest almost from the beginning as they got that first sprint and never looked back. 1 to go for the rest of our teams here. 1 to go. Team Green making the catch here before the final sprint. We will give double points for their efforts here. So a nice catch there for Green. Yellow coming in for their finish. Make the exchange across the finish line. Hey, here we go. Nicely done for Team Yellow. They throw their hands up in the air and say, yep, good effort here today. Textbook racing for the two. Nice and clean on the Madison. We've got a few more riders here coming across for their finish. Their orders are pretty much already set, but Green's going to come in, which should be for 6 more points on this last sprint, and overall second here today for the Lake Hills Montessori team. And that'll do it for all of our riders. They'll make their way off on the back straight. Coming up next, more Madison racing, this time for the elite masters and junior women going out for their 6x5 Madison points. All teams have exited. We are bringing those riders up to the rail now. On deck after this, we begin the Keirins heats for the masters 35 through 39 riders. Your riders going between turns 3 and 4 right now are the riders that will start the race. The relief riders who released just a moment ago will start them out of turn 4 and get this 30-lap contest underway. Another 6x5 points race for the open women competitors in our region. And there's the whistle. Racing's underway. And then our 4 teams here today represented by the beautiful colors. First of Team 1, it's Ride Group in the Pride flag colors. We've got Team 4 in the white, that's Gilchrist Architectural, supporting that team. Team 6 in the purple, everybody's favorite, is Chamois Butter. And of course, number 11 for the the Kenny Williams Racing / Better Builders colors. That's the blue squad, number 11. Our 4 teams here competing today. No points yet, but it's going to run just the same as you saw that last group. They're going to have 6 opportunities to sprint for points. Team with the most number of points at the end, of course, will be our winner. A nice effort here coming in. It looks like a good dig coming in for Team 11 at 27 to go. That's an attack from Hillary Luther, trying to pull this field apart a bit. Chamois Butter, the purple squad, still holding on to this aggression pretty well, but that's a big gap starting to open up. Team Purple doing an exchange, trying to hold on to this acceleration now. Big toss in also from Team Pride out of turn 4. And here comes the bell. Purple holds on to this. That's Lucy Dorr now in the purple jersey after being tossed in, I believe, by Rue Tomko, their teammate. And now Purple on the attack with Annette Williams, the rider in that green and blue jersey right behind her for Team 11, trying to get an early start here on their first sprint for the Madison. Williams will come around the outside. A nice sprint for her. Good for Team 11 to pick up the first 5. One of our junior teams, the purple team, gets 3. Team 1 for Ride Group in the Pride flag colors gets 2. And Gilchrist Architectural, the light white and blue colored Team 4, gets 1 point. And now off we go. Luther holding on now to the wheel of, I believe, Lucy Dorr, the rider in purple at the front of this race. So we still have at least a small field of 2 that are currently glued together. And it's Edwards for Team 1 trying to get back up to the action. Going to toss in teammate Emily Alexander here on the home straight. At 23 to go, we've got a couple laps before the bell. Looks like it's Scoville and Gilchrist working together. Another junior partner out of Team 4 trying to hold on to this very good speed in the early part of this race. Whenever Luther comes in, she is really trying to haul a lot of effort here, move forward and make this a fast race. It's now her teammate back in as Williams back on the front. Zanette looks over to the cards and sees 22 to go, bell next time. Also trying to look across the track and see where the teammate is. You always got to plan where the relief rider is positioned when it's time to make the exchange. And yes, there is courtesy. There's a certain expectation when you do these races. You'll notice the riders that are in the race go over the top of these exchanges while the exchange happens down low, rather than the exchange going up high onto the bank and forcing riders underneath. Sort of be the other way around. So far looking very well navigated here. A nice attack from Luther. She gets tossed in. She'll be able to roll this one really nicely for another 5. Purple in a tough spot here, trying to hold on. Before getting the points, so we'll do more exchange here. It looks like as Luther's done with her attack, there goes Annette now at 20 to go. They pick up the 5. Team Purple with 3. Ride Group Team 1 finds the 2 points here shortly, and behind them will be our Gilchrist Architectural team. They're coming across the line shortly for 1 point. Everybody doubling down on their current points. Same order. Your leader after 2 sprints is Team 11, the green and blue team with 10. Team Purple, number 6, in second with 6. Ride Group number 1 with 4 is in third, and Gilchrist Architect number 4 is in fourth with 2. Those points unofficial. Been a tough week managing on the forecast with the smoky weather and condition. Obviously, we're very lucky with a little bit of precipitation today, a little bit more wind. We were able to have good enough conditions today for some racing. Thank you for taking the time to hop in the vehicle and come down to the park to watch some racing today. This is a unique weekend for us. It's not normal Friday night racing. You're not going to see the normal 3 groups of races, including some of our normal categories. It's part of Fred's race, the weekend of regional championships. There's a lot of breaking up by age group that happens here, and again, to come back to the sort of mission, that's about the Fred C. Rayberger Memorial Race that this is all about. We shortened it to Fred's Race a number of years ago when we started this event. And we give out a lot of trophies, a lot of medals, and celebrate riders of all ages. Try to get as many people involved on the track as we can. Representing the entire Northwest region in this competition, and we do have some riders that are here competing from the Portland area. I've seen so far already on the track. While we're here, it does look like there's a bake sale going on, so if you want to take a break from the racing action, get a stretch in, you can come on behind the grandstands over here to the red tent where there is a bake sale going on. The other red tent with Vision on it, one of our main sponsors, that's our beverage garden, also open and pouring here tonight. Bell's ringing for your next points. That's Team 11 getting the bell as they're about to catch light blue. Staying just an inch off the back here. It'll be Luther now getting tossed in for the lead team as Rue for Team Purple. Both riders riding at the blue line, sitting just off the pace of the light blue team. The catch happening after they came across the line, so it will be scored now down the lap for Team 4 after that sprint. They were not going to be placed in the order they may have expected there, but that is how that one will go out. So Team 11 does get 5, confirming Team 11 gets 5 in the previous sprint. Team 6 gets 3. Team 4 will get 1 now after they get caught on the lap previously. They will now get scored for their 1 point. And before that, we had Team 1 getting 2. Your leader is Team 11 with 15 points. In second, I have Team 6 with 9. In third, with 6 points, Team 1. It's 3 points for Team 4 before they lost the 20, so I believe they're down -17 after the catch, unofficially. Thumbs up from the officials means we're on track. They just saw 13 to go. Our season is coming to a close very quickly. In fact, next week will really be the last regular night of racing. We've got another Friday night racing edition to close out the season, and then we go into celebratory mode. We get to celebrate the season, kind of crown our Riders of the Year, and we shut down for a few months around here as we expect the rain to come in, and we get a lot of cancellations in that part of the year. So if you are looking forward to more racing, it's almost time to start looking ahead to 2024. If you want to stay in touch with us in the off season, don't forget to follow us on the socials at JB Velodrome on X and Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook by looking up the name of this facility. Our website, velodrome.org, also has a way to connect with us via our newsletter. You can go there on the smart device right now, go over to Connect tab, down to sign up for the newsletter. That's a great way to get information when we start posting things like the auction that's going to be going on in the off season. Always good to have information about the auction, as well as when we will start posting our classes and other offerings in 2024. Bells ring at 11 to go. The regular Friday night show, of course, features our elite competitors, a few more mass start events, typically more riders in sort of the group, so this may not be the normal production you're expecting to see on a Friday night. Once again, to remind you, this is our first session of a weekend of racing called Fred's Race. A little bit different focus here for the weekend as we make sure this is all about crowning champions of every age group and type here. Looks like Team 1 got caught, but now back off the front, so they lose 20 points, but now they are going to be picking up the 5 here as Edwards accelerates from the field. That gives Team 6 3 points, Team 11 2, and Team 4 looks to get 1 that time. Keirin riders coming up for your heats down to the ready area. Masters 35 through 39, Keirin heats to the ready area, please. All right, my unofficial points totals. Your leaders now look to have 17 points after the previous sprint. That's Team 11. And in second with, I believe, 12 points is Team 6. I have Team 1 at -9 after they get caught, but plus the 5 from the sprint. I believe that's our top 3 currently. All right, so a couple more opportunities to sprint here in this one. The dominant team, of course, Team 11. Did not get 5 points in the last sprint, though, so it's not over for the top here. Purple can continue to try to work on this. That's a junior team, too. They're doing some good work here today, but here goes Hillary Luther, one of our riders out of Portland who's had some really good efforts here over the last month, just doing another really strong dig here to try to pull away from that persnickety purple team. The junior is always nipping at the heels, trying to pull away here. So a nice veteran move here for Hillary Luther, getting some separation as purple's still within striking distance on the points. But this move may just make it too hard to come back, at least on this sprint. We'll see what happens after. Bell's ringing for points. This is our second to last opportunity. Team 11 trying to find 5 more. Looks in a great position to do so. Purple in pursuit, but a bit of a gap here. A nice exchange for Team 4 upcoming as they're also on the Bell lap. As is Team 1, everybody's going for points. And 5 to go. 5 points for Williams and her team of number 11. And here comes your sprint for 3, 2, and behind her will be for 1. Purple for 3 more. (23 to the leaders). That's 22 to the leaders. That's Team 11. 22 to your leaders. 15 to Team Purple. Our top 2 down. Third and fourth place may actually come down to this last sprint. Technically it could, as it looks like I've got Team 1 with -8. -14 to Team 4. So it technically isn't sorted between them. Could come down to this last sprint. Your leaders pretty far separating themselves after that previous one. Now we'll see if Team Purple can still make this a good race for the top, but I think Team 11 has this one well dialed in as their position on the track looks to be even further away from Purple, despite the effort of that junior squad to hold on to the aggression. Once again, it's Luther on a nice effort to try to pull away even more. 3 to go. Bell at 1 to go, your last sprint upcoming. Good, starting shortly here, we have our 35 through 39 Masters men Keirin heats. About ready to start as the bell's now ringing at 1 to go. Team 11 putting in their nice effort one more time around the track to solidify their win here today. Purple, 2 juniors really putting in really good endurance effort here today. They made it look very good and competitive through the middle phase of this race. Again, those are 2 riders that are trying to outclass or keep up with some very experienced and strong riders, and they put in a good show here today. Team 1 getting the bell here as his team 4 on their final lap, and now coming back on the home straight. Your winner here today in the Madison overall, the team of Hillary Luther and Annette Williams, finishing up here with a nice smile on the face, saying that was some fun racing, just getting a good effort here today on the Madison. Team Purple with a good showing here today. Again, 2 kids with a really good effort in this competition. Rue and Lucy coming across the line. And one more good sprint here between, it looks like, Edwards and Gilchrist. Coach and student coming in here for one more sprint. Edwards proud, not wanting to get overtaken on this one, and will not. And that'll be good for Team 1 getting 4 more in that last sprint, and they'll hold on to 3rd overall. Up next, we have some Keirin heats. Our riders here in the Masters 35 through 39 category need to qualify into either the major or minor final based on their results from the upcoming ride. First up will, of course, be Heat A. We have Siegel, Adams, Snoblin, Gibson, and Kennedy, followed by Baker, Malikian, Campbell, Harris, Ritter, and Mousseau. All right, bringing up our first heat now onto the track and then getting set for the start here in the Keirin. We had a competitor in the last field that's also jumping on the e-bike, so had to wait for just a second there. A bit of a transition. Out of this group, we're going to be taking the top 3 to advance to a major final. The major final, pardon me. The other riders will carry on in the minor final. You must be top 3 to race for the top 6 positions overall. Down there in lane 1 is Alex Siegel for the Water Lane Racing Team, Nolan Adams and Dyna Racing Team right next door in the pink. Looks like we have Quinn Kennedy right there in the middle, our rider in the black. Grant Gibson out there in lane 4, and Peter Snoblin in lane 5 out next to the rail. Again, 3 get to race again in the major final. All racers will get another chance. It's either the major or the minor. Pace is on the way. Riders ready. The Keirin is a 4-lap event. It's intended to be more of a sprint-favored race than endurance, as it's rather short, and the pacing duty is going to be done by the e-bike at the front here today. Traditionally done with a motorcycle at many facilities. Thanks to that thing called insurance and lawyers coming together, things can get tricky. So we went with the e-bike solution. Thanks to our good friends at Greg Cycles for being solution-focused and helping us find this wonderful e-bike that we now use. Leading our field around, this group of 5 will find 3 riders at the front that will be able to ride again for the ride for 1st through 6th. The other 2 will race again in the minor final. That's going to be places 7th and below. Positions are drawn before the race starts. Alex Siegel, number 110, pulls position 1. Certainly the true sprinter in this group. When we're doing a sprint tournament, you'll see him bring out the national colors as he is a champion in his age group in the sprint, so certainly a top speed specialist and will be favored here out of this heat. Certainly going to be capable of being a top 3 finisher. The question is who the other 2 riders would be. I think the 2 tucked in right behind him have a good shot of being those top 3 riders, as both Nolan Adams and Quinn Kennedy looks like they have some good speed here tonight, but the back half has certainly the opportunity to try to overtake and make this a good race at 2 to go. Half lap left with the pacer on the back straight. The e-bike will pull off to the left and the race is going to be underway. No medals here. This is all about qualifying and advancing to the next stage. Siegel going to hold on to that front position. Should be a pretty comfortable race for him as he's going to try to maintain just enough speed and rate for the jump a little bit longer. Save it for that next race as long as he can. Snowblin starting to try to shorten down the race a little bit. He's trying to position himself. Adams out of the saddle. Here comes Snowblin now running at the blue line. He comes all the way from the back. Now the acceleration coming from both Adams and Siegel. The rider in black with that white helmet, Quinn Kennedy, also right on the wheel of Adams, is going to look to be coming in here for third as Snowblin sort of being left out behind. Top three advance to the major, and I think we have our group. Heat B coming onto the track now. On deck after this, we have the scratch race for the junior A and B men. So our young men going out for a 20-lap scratch race after this. In the all black with the white helmet down in lane 1, that's Serge Malikian next door for the Airtech Racing team. That's James Campbell Harris in lane 2. Looks like Steve Mousseau coming down for the Red Kilo Racing team. That's one of our Canadian friends up from across the northern border coming down to compete here at Fred's Race. Andy Baker next door to him, wearing bib number 103. And finally for Dyna Racing on the outside edge, that's Mike Ritter, number 321. Once again, the rules are the same. 3 riders at the front get to race for top 6 place positions here in the Keirin. The other 2 will race again for 7th and below. Pacer's on its way. Riders ready. It'll be Serge Malikian, the rider in black with the white helmet that drew position 1 and is compelled to take the bike. You'll get very familiar with this format as you're going to be watching a lot of 4-lap races here today with that pacer on the front. It's all about qualifying in this first ride for this age group, as we had just enough. We needed to sort them out between the top and the bottom and make sure we had a very good major final and a good minor final as well as the next round of this racing. Mousseau came here for the Vision Grand Prix and threw down in the Cat 3 Masters field. Did well in the sprints, the rider right in the middle with that light pink jersey. Certainly has good top speed, but I think this field's pretty well balanced as there's a lot of opportunity for just about any of these riders to figure out a top 3 position today. And 3 to go. Okay, race director Amar corrected me on the fact that there will not be a minor, so there we go. Eliminated immediately after the heat, so top 3 only get to ride again. Don't trust what you read. Always double check your resources. All right, still continuing to accelerate. They've got about a half lap left now with the pacer coming on the home straight. Again, it's a little bit harder for me to pick here between these 5 riders. I'm interested to see how the next bit of this race unfolds. Look for the back half to maybe start to compress the race down a little bit as we hit the back straight, potentially wanting to move up towards Malikian, depending on his acceleration here. I'm not expecting the rider on the front to do a whole lot of sprinting just yet. Kind of looking over the right shoulder, trying to hold on just a little bit longer. No one moving up above the red line just yet. It's still all in hesitation mode. Campbell Harris starting to edge up just an inch here. No moves just yet as we cross the line. This is a long wait for the move. The bell's already rang, and now we start to see the reaction to Baker's acceleration from the back half. He finally lets open the attack here. And a good bit of acceleration for Baker as he's already dropped a few riders off. Just needs to hold on to the front here. James Campbell Harris for Airtech Racing makes a nice move here. Rousseau holding on to his acceleration, may be able to find a top 3 in this one. Here goes Baker, Campbell Harris, and Mousseau will come across the line. In fact, second in front of Campbell Harris. We're going to check in on a rider there between turns 1 and 2 before we call up any more racing action. Let's just make sure we're good and clear, and we'll bring up our next group in just a moment. Let's take a pause here as we check in with Serge, and our team will be with you in a moment. Let's take a quick pause here. It's a good time to take a stretch break and move around a little bit. Don't forget, we got Jessica's Unique Bites here with burgers and fries ready to serve you up if you need a little bit of food and refreshment. We've also got, of course, the Beverage Garden open and pouring. Don't forget the purchases within the Beverage Garden. They're like a fun donation. Thanks to Postdoc Brewing and Locust Ciders, all the purchases within the garden go into our reusable cups from Stanley, and they're basically going right back in the pockets of the Marymore Velodrome Association, the nonprofit that runs this place. So thank you for imbibing here in the Velodrome and helping support our racing programs. Also on your way into the Beverage Garden, take a little left-hand turn to the tent there to support the juniors. We got a bake sale going on. The Jerry Baker Juniors partnering up with the Velodrome to raise a little extra money for their coaching and travel needs. Help raise some money and purchase some delicious baked goods here today. And if you don't want some now, take them home and share with the family for tomorrow morning. You got yourself a sweet breakfast ready to go. The good news is, of course, Serge is up on both of his feet. He's moving around. He's got his thumbs up even. He's feeling okay. So great to see that. We put our hands together quickly. I appreciate that. Serge doing all right, and we're glad that that turned out as it did. So we are almost ready to start the next race. Just making sure all of the officials have their eyes on the next race before we call them up. Thank you for your patience. We'll get started with the Junior A-B men's scratch race in just a moment. Let's bring our next riders to the rail, please. Thank you for your patience. Junior AB men to the rail for the scratch. Come on down. Currently the neutral, we have a mass start event here. It's a scratch race. All these riders will be going around 20 laps for their scratch race. At the end of it, it is going to be a bell at 1 to go. First rider across the line will be the winner, although there are 2 scored groups within this field. We have Junior A's and Junior B's. Those are age-based, so our older juniors and slightly younger junior groups. All these riders under 18 to qualify for the competition here today. We'll get them started out of turn 4 as long as they're all together. One of our few opportunities here to get to celebrate all the juniors all together at once in a nice field. 20 laps of scratch racing just about ready here to start at Fred's race. And the whistle was sounded. It's 20 to go. Logan Lee wants to open up on the very first attack here right away. Open up this thing on lap 1. Looks like we have a field of almost all 15 to 16-year-olds, so this is a primarily B field. Your Junior A's, just 3 competitors here overall fitting into that age group. One of these riders in this group is wearing a bib number starting, in fact, a couple of them starting with the number 1 as they've earned their Cat 2 upgrades so they race with the Cat 1-2 men, so some speedsters amongst the group. At velodrome.org/live, the live results folder, you can see a folder with Keirin results for a very close photo, video even, of the finish line. Again, go velodrome.org/live. All right, so we are going to score them all together. I just keep saying false information because I don't know what I'm doing. So this is straight up a good scratch race, which we like to see. So nothing to confuse the viewers or me. The first rider across the line is your winner, period. Talking about one of those juniors with a number 1 at the start of their number, that's Merrick Gallagher right there, number 150. Who's been a top talent here for the Jerry Baker Jr. team and has been making some great improvement this season. Making an attack here right now. JC Pyle right behind him has been on a tour this year to try to improve his top speed and also put in some good efforts during the sprints at Junior Nationals. And then here, of course, comes Team Epic, the East Portland Youth Cycling team. We get to see them a lot here during the end of our season now as these juniors continue to make their way up the I-5 corridor from Portland to compete here at our Velodrome. That's Gavin Newman, the rider with the white bike that just flipped back into second position. And Newman, a Cat 3 himself, but very competitive in that field. He's continued to earn some good upgrade points this year as well. Jack Hampson, his teammate right behind him, number 355. We have a break of 3. The field struggling now behind them. This is a good field of 3. No surprise to see Hampson, Newman, and Gallagher try to pull away from the rest of the riders at 15 to go. That's Hampson that pulls up the rider from the East Portland Youth Cycling team with the black bike. His team in front of him, Newman, with the white bike. So we're trying to make a jump here on his grouping of 3, feeling like he might have some real spunk in here. This is generally where you see riders sort of sit in for a bit and allow this thing to pull apart, maybe want to work more cooperatively, but instead Newman tries to actually do some aggression here, will not drop the riders in the process. Gallagher keeps a pretty consistent tempo. He's not going to let Newman get away from him. Hampson sort of taking a short pull. He did a lot of work just to get up here, so I think he's still kind of getting his breath. In fact, Newman also with a short pull after that attack on the previous lap. We go back to what looks to be our field of 4, just coming out of turn 2. That's Will Fowler on the front for the Jay Baker Jr.'s team. JC Pyle right behind him. Not making much progress right now in our leaders. They look like they're in pretty good form, but they are losing ground still at 13 to go. Your leaders coming through turn 1 with good speed still. $12 to go. Your field coming onto the home straight now, seeing 12 to go as well. That's Pyle on the front, number 313. Number 340, Anton Ernishev took over at the front there in front of him. $11 to go. Your field still really cruising along here. Excuse me, the leaders. The field being dropped here by nearly a half a lap almost at this stage. Impressive effort from these 3 riders that continue to show great athleticism and overall endurance here tonight. I think it's the pace that Gallagher has become well accustomed to in his new category. And both Newman and Hampson train hard for these kind of competitions, and they've been making great progress this year. So again, a lot of fun to watch these 3 partner up and see what kind of speed they can do when they're working together. 413 brought into that kind of no man's land zone as he gets taken over by the leaders. That's Tom Herrick. So your leader is still this group of 3. 2 off the lead currently. They're in the no man's land zone. That's our riders just not coming across the finish line. This is an interesting move here from Gallagher once again. It looks like they are trying to race this thing very aggressively against one another, thinking that maybe with some accelerations here in the middle of the race, they might be able to separate themselves before the end. Newman looking down his legs, feeling a little bit of pressure now as Gallagher continues to pull away a bit. Hampson finds the wheel, though. He's being very stubborn and not allowing him to get away. So you now have a lead of 2, 1 straggler. Newman trying to catch his breath and get ready to get back up there later. It's now Hampson and Gallagher. More in the half lap up now as we look back to turn 4. The field just now coming onto the home straight. 8 to go, and it's Ernishev on the front. Pyle right behind him. There's Fowler. And also that's going to be Oscar Plechelmariki for Team Epic in that group of 4. Your leaders just saw 7 to go. And your group of 4 on the back straight is also going to be seeing 7 to go as Pyle takes his turn on the lead. In front of them, of course, we do have the stragglers on the home straight here. They got left out on the pace. They are waiting to get caught by the field to be officially down the lap, but working together here. And here comes your field onto the home straight, seeing 7. And behind them, the efforts of Gallagher, he continues to lead the lap as Hampson's just glued on his wheel. He says, go for it. Let's go for a ride. I'll just let you do the work here for a little bit as he's able to hold on to anything that Gallagher does. So I think he's having to give up on any kind of aggression. It's now just taking turns at the lead. At this point, just better for both of them just to take a break behind the other and keep on the pace. They may be catching the field before long as it's getting awfully close. They're under 50 meters to catch. 5 to go for the leaders. Merrick's trying to get this thing done. He starts to pull ahead, not worried so much about the position of Hampson. In fact, as he looks back, he says, I think I'll just go ahead and try to close this thing down myself. Hampson and Gallagher both in pursuit now to the back end of the field, which is now just going on to turn 3. The portion of that field starting to pull away now on the home straight, seeing 4 to go. The field getting caught there on the back end by your lead riders. And it looks like the entire field now lapped by Gallagher. Hampson not quite there yet. He's still dangling off the back, but he will be able to at least close some distance with some of these riders here as he moves his way forward. So the way this works now, that the riders have caught the field as those that are on the lead lap are scored sort of separately. They're going to be against one another at the sprint. And then after that, the field will be going for 3rd place and below. So we'll see now as it's Gallagher and Hampson make their way all the way around as Newman fell back into the group. In fact, that's Newman there right behind Fowler, who's trying to hold on to Gallagher's acceleration once again as he just keeps on his tempo. So now Fowler trying to pull himself forward. But still could be a race for 3rd place overall out of this field for Fowler and Newman. So good positioning for them here on the back of Gallagher at 2 to go. Merrick can just keep on the tempo and win this scratch as he's already on the lead lap and his nearest competition still back a fair way is about 50 meters behind him or so in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Is that where Hampson currently is? The only other rider to make it around on the lap. Your leader will be seeing 1 to go and getting the bell. Here comes Gallagher with the 2 on his wheel. 1 to go, 1 to go. Gallagher could cruise in at this point and still gets first. It doesn't matter how Fowler or Newman finish around him, but the race is essentially for 3rd behind him. So he's sort of playing lead out for this 3rd place sprint. As Fowler stayed back, it was Newman that worked so hard off the front. Fowler may have a bit more kick here, but Newman a great sprinter of his own here out of, but this will be a relatively small field of 3, but still good speed here for Newman as he's going to come around the outside of Gallagher. It'll be Newman and Fowler in this head-up sprint for 3rd. It looks like it'll be Newman finding this one. Fowler will end up 4th overall. Gallagher, your victor after going around the track, will pick up this one, looking very stronger today. Hampson with a great race today also will be in 2nd overall. That's our rider 355 now just coming across the line as he caught that field as well. Fun race there for the juniors. A few more of them finishing up now. Coming up now, our scratch race for the Masters and Junior Women. To the rail, please. Another fun scratch race coming up for us here at the Velodrome. It's a 15-lap contest in this group, and they'll be starting at turn 4 if they're all together. Good number of registrants here to compete. Once again, starting out at turn 4 if they're all together, and then we'll be going for 15 laps. Bell at 1 to go. Finishing order decided by their place on the final lap. And whistle sounding means racing's underway. 15 to go for the open women in their 15-lap scratch race. On deck and soon to be called to the ready area will be the Masters 60 Plus Keirins Finals. That'll be coming up next. Not urgent, but coming up next, the Masters 60 Plus Keirins Finals. We'll continue through the age categories: Masters 55 to 59, 50 to 54, 40 through 49, and then 35 through 39 Keirins Finals in that order. Those finals will follow this scratch race. And good speed here in the early going of this race as we stretch the group out in a single file. Race going to be going here for a while, so the early laps, some riders taking their turns to the front, but good acceleration nonetheless. At 13 to go, Lucy Dorr taking over the front. Bennett Williams right behind her, number 11. Thanks for making way into the park and joining us here at the Velodrome. Of course, we've been part of the Marymore community an awful long time, and the past few seasons has been one of growth and improvement. A lot of great programs we've been putting together. One of our best Vision Grand Prix that we've seen this past season. Lots of great racing going on our regular Friday nights. We've had some very exciting and memorable moments throughout the season. You can go review all of the great action by going to our YouTube channel, JB Velodrome, the name of the channel. Also search for the J. Baker Memorial Velodrome there. You'll find all of our videos of all of our Friday night racing, special programs as well. Make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already done so, and help us on our campaign to continue spreading the word about this great velodrome here in the bike capital of the Northwest here at Redmond, Washington. And if you're already on the stream enjoying it, hopefully you think it's a pretty good production. We've just got our 2 running the show today, so no views down there in the action, unfortunately, but we're still trying to do our best to bring the action to you. If you think we're doing an okay job, hit that thumbs up and let us know what you like. Hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. We appreciate your support. If you're here in person at the Velodrome, you can help us with our YouTube by going to velodrome.org and clicking on the banner that comes up there at the top, or you can just search YouTube yourself and find us streaming now. Again, that is easy to find, JB Velodrome. You may be seeing it here in person, but check out the YouTube and post it on your socials. Let people know you're here enjoying the great racing. It helps us out. The field just taking their turns at the moment, looking fairly cooperative in the first third of this race. They will be seeing 10 to go. Your field and lead of the race, seeing 9 to go. Now on the home straight. 9 to go. 7 to go. It's Edward on the front. Edward's leaving the room now for Dahlberg. Nancy Dahlberg taking over at the front. Number 209. At 6 to go, there's Rue Tomko back on the front with Lucy Dorr now taking over at the lead spot. Again, mostly just kind of rotating around, but as Lucy finds the front, actually, she'll make an attack of her own here from the front of the field, maybe feeling like it's time to accelerate, feeling well rested here in the group. And this immediately pulls things apart really quickly. So nice move here for another one of our under 18 competitors in this group. Immediately starting to try to separate this field out. Williams ready for it. She jumps on the wheel quickly. That's number 11. Now we've got number 1, Scoville, also marking the effort. Follow them is Hillary Luther. We saw what she could do back in the Madison at the beginning of the night. Our Portland rider, up in this group of 4, kind of makes her new field as everybody else is off the pace and straggling a bit here. We do have a fairly large group of 3 at the back end of the chase. 2 just barely straggling. But yeah, a group of 3 now just going on the back straight. Looks like they'll be working together here to try to hold on to the speed of the front. That's Rue Tomko trying to work their way back up to the back of this field. 4 to go. Almost there, the rider in the pink helmet bringing with them Heather Nielsen, number 3. To try to make this a group of 6. Luther sort of does that same attack she did back in the Madison from the front. Liked what Dora did. That's a good move. She says, let's keep doing it. So when she gets to the front, she's pushing down the pedals pretty hard too. So a lot of power here coming from these women at the front of this group. Good output of speed here as really this field was kind of just waiting for some sort of attack, and here it is. And now the tempo's just at a whole nother level here with 3 to go. Dora pulls up after her full pull. Williams and Scoville pull up quickly. Luther also looking for a bit of rest. So it looks like they've done their job now. They've got about a half lap lead on any chasing riders. And they're going to hold off for a second as it doesn't feel like they're really working for anything anymore. They're working against themselves for the upcoming sprint at this point. So they'll be seeing 3 to go. It looks like 2 to go as Nielsen trying to come up to the front. Next time around, your bell at 1 to go. Here's 2 laps remaining. Nielsen pulls up and also looking around. Nobody in attack mode now. It's time to catch their breath. So Tomko, number 25, doing a good effort there to come back up into this race. Bring him with them. Heather Nielsen, number 3, making this a field of 6. Dora looking very strong here tonight. Number 1, trying to be patient, not spend too much effort on the front. The rider with that orange helmet, hoping to win in a sprint here at the end. So is Williams, number 11, right behind her. Luther, one that usually goes a bit on the longer sprint. That's the rider up high in that sort of pink-colored jersey, maybe looking for an opportunity around the hill here. But the other rider that's going to go long is Nielsen. She goes underneath, and she'll take the jump onto the home straight. Number 3 gets the bell. It's 1 to go. Nielsen on a nice attack here. Dora trying to recover. Good wheel there for number 1 to try to follow as Scoville's going to try and get into this race with Williams right behind her. We got a good sprint here in our open women field as Dora will be the lead for what will be Scoville, Williams, and Luther all piling up behind her. Bell also ringing for our chasing group as we watch this sprint finish. The speedster for the Jerry Baker Juniors, number 1, the best out of this group last year, having another good season. See if she can put in a win here on the scratch race. A good sprint between her and Williams. Williams finds the acceleration she needs. Number 11 has worn that Rider of the Year jersey all season for a reason. A nice effort there for the Center Cycles rider. She took that a few weeks back and has been showing great form here in August. And a few more finishers now coming around. Let's see what our finishers will do here for their last lap, and then they'll be making way for a whole bunch of Keirins coming up around the corner. Nice racing for the open women. They'll make their exit on the back straight. One more rider still on the track. All right, and with that, we will be ready to bring up the Keirins. The track is open momentarily in between our races. Thanks again for tuning in or making your way to the park. We're in the middle of our first session of Fred's race, and we've got a bunch more Keirins to go. A bunch of finals here, so this is going to be racing for top positions for each of these start groups. Our 60-plus Keirin about ready to start now, coming up to the line. Our 5 riders in the group. John Klupar for the Fellstroop Racing Team. That's number 323 in the orange. Eric Waterman for Dyna Racing in the pink, number 166. Jonathan Leons, number 354. Michael Cooper, number 358 of the Flying Gorilla Academy. That's the rider down in lane 2. And Steve Thompson for Gerks Movement Mortgage is number 459. These 5 will be going for top 5 spots, top 3 spots really for the Keirin in the age group. We'll get them started here shortly as they look to be set to start. And the pacer getting the signal. And our riders will make their way up to the pacer. For 4 laps of racing, the first rider across the line, your champion here in the age group for the Keirin. Up next, we'll work our way down through the age groups with the Masters 55 through 59 on deck, followed by 50 through 54. Riders, please come up to the ready area. One lap completed so far. The rider drawing position number 1, that's 354. Jonathan Leons right behind the pacer. The Flying Gorilla rider, that's Michael Cooper in second position. John Klupar for Fellstroop right in the middle is number 323. Eric Waterman behind him. And finally, Steve Thompson drew position 5 and is the rider in red at the back of the group. You only get one chance to race tonight here in the Keirin. Top speed and position, very important. Half lap remaining with the pacer now, seeing 2 to go. Pacer pulling off now into the warm-up circle, and Leon still on the front of this field. Sees that he can pull up, he'll do so. He's going to try and let someone else take the lead spot. Michael Cooper engages at the front now. 1 to go. Waterman holding on to the wheel. Number 166 right in position. Good jump here from Waterman down the backstraight to take on Cooper. And this is the kind of effort that Waterman's known for. A great effort here in the Keirin. He put in a good show for Nationals as well. He is this kind of a talent, and he'll put on a good show for us here today. Good effort for Waterman. He'll take the field. And from the front, a good move here for Cooper from the Flying Gorilla Academy as well. Number 358 comes across the line second. Your Keirin finals for the 55 to 59 riders now coming up on deck. 50 through 54, followed by the 40 through 49. And the pacer gets the signal. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready. And our group of four now out on the track for their 4 laps. The Flying Gorilla Academy's Tom Schlesny, the rider that pulls position number 1 at the front of the group, right behind the pacer. It's Ken Dong right behind him in the gray for Dyna Racing here today, number 302. Kenny Williams, number 114 in the blue. And Austin Hildreth, number 118 for Country Green Turf Racing, is the 4th rider in this group. Two to go. Schlesny has a bit of advantage here. There's a bit of a gap between him and Dong, although that's actually some room that Ken could use to accelerate and go over the top of the wheel, but actually Schlesny will surrender the front very quickly. And Dong trying to stay above the red line, not trying to commit to the lead, keeping some tempo, but he's waiting for something to happen. At 1 to go, Ken Dong comes down to the sprinter's lane, now starting to make his own move. Williams just kind of sitting above the wheel right now. Austin Hildreth trying to be right behind him, sneaky in that sprinter's lane. Schlesny tucking in close as well. Now Williams up and out of the saddle, wants to try and take this thing down the back straight. Ken Dong being left behind a bit there in the sprinter's lane. Here comes Williams. And Schlesny coming back towards the front. This has been a pretty busy one. Lots of rotations in this group. Schlesny, though, coming out here, will take over the front. Williams and, will barely, I think, get second just over Hildreth. Your 50 through 54 now, Masters riders coming up to the rail, or excuse me, to the line on deck. 40 through 49 in the Keirins finals. Pacer gets a signal, is on their way. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready. That's chip chase number 117 for Liquid Velo. Drew position number 1, and we'll get up to the bike first. An official relegation to number 118 in the previous race for entering the sprinter's lane. Pardon me, 114. Thank you for the correction. Number 114 for entering the sprinter's lane while occupied in the previous race. Relegation to 114 for entering the sprinter's lane while occupied during the previous race. Currently on the track, again, we have our 50 through 54 riders. Chip Chaser, as announced already, is in position number 1. Andrew Lynch, the rider in blue, is right behind him. Seeing 2 to go. Half lap left with the pacer. Chip Chase on the lead of the effort now as the pacer pulls out of the way. Lynch trying to hold on to the wheel. Everybody's sort of like piling in right behind, just at the red line. No big acceleration from the back of the group yet. Bell ringing, 1 to go. Top of the podium here on the line. Good move from the back half of the group now as a nice acceleration from 132. Big overtake by Robson for the 10-speed Hero team. Huge acceleration onto the home straight. Will just drop the rest of this field. That's Hyun Lee and the rider in pink trying to hold on to this. Big gap here. Can he get back up there? He's a good sprinter. Can he get there in time? Jamie Park also for Dyna Racing trying to get up and out of the saddle. Andrew Lynch. Can they catch this guy? I think Robson's just gone. Good top speed here for Mike Robson. He lines up a bullet on the home straight. No catching this rider. Second across the line, Gene Johnson Cycling's got Andrew Lynch, number 152. Next up, continuing with our Keirin finals, the 40 through 49 Masters Keirin finals, followed by Masters 35 through 39. Pacer's on his way. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready. Another championship here for our 40 through 49 Keirin finals. Now getting started. Looks to be Justin Captis that takes position number 1. Mike Westover right behind him. Again, 4 laps here with this lead bike. A big field here to figure out who's going to be on top. And this should be a good competition. I see some true sprinters that made their way out here. We saw a really good set of races last Friday night from Mario Sandoval, the rider at the very back of this group. And in fact, as they cross the 200-meter line, look at Stan Douglas trying to move up a bit in the setting order here. When you have these big Keirin fields, that's a long ways from the back to the front. So a lot of times these riders will try to move their way up and maybe force themselves up into a position or at least ride closer to the front. Douglas looking for some room. The rider in red finds a window, is allowed to move in. That's, of course, Miles Morales is his real name, number 391. Where's my Spider-Man fans? All right, seeing 2 to go. This big field about ready to unload on some big speed here. Captis will be forced to be that lead rider. Let's see if he sticks with that position or not, as he's got a tough position to be leading out this crew. The middle of this field, I think, maybe has really good advantage here. I'm also going to be watching the rider in blue, Tomko, known for some good Keirin efforts here at the Velodrome. This is his time to attack, so he's trying to move the blue line, see if he can close things down a bit at 1 to go. Things compressing in a bit. Here goes Sandoval. We talked about him all the way from the back. Number 101 has been in good form here in August. He's wearing bib number 1 because he's a rider of the year from last year, and he's in a class of his own right now. Goodbye. Can anybody else catch this rider? Off goes Sandoval. Here comes the counterattack now. It's not going to be done and done just yet. Hit in turn 3. The race going to be coming down to 2. Will he get the catch out of turn 4? We might have a good one. Sandoval trying to hold on. Ooh, look at this run. It will not be enough. Sandoval over Martin from 10-Speed Hero, number 135. Almost there. Sandoval really got the advantage there over the finish line there at 1 to go, and wasn't able to, no one was able to catch it in time. Martin with a nice effort there out of turn 3, almost made it. I know the Keirins are fun, so I say this because I'm excited to see it. One more great Keirin here for us tonight. This is the Masters 35 through 39 that qualified into the major. This is our only group tonight that had enough for us to run heats, so we had to make their way here by being top 3 in the qualifiers. Now our top 6 racing in this major final for 1st through 6th place. Alex Siegel down there in lane 1 again, picking position number 1 here. Quinn Kennedy next door to him with the rider in black with the white helmet. Andy Baker for Liquid Velo next door to him in lane 3. James Campbell Harris for Airtech Racing in lane 4. Marcelo up there for the Red Kilo Trek Racing Team in lane 5, and Nolan Adams out in lane 6. Pacer gets the signal, and they're on your way. Your finals for the 35 to 39 Masters men. Pacer down the home straight, riders ready. Pretty easy for me once again to call the favorite of the group, but what I've seen so far here today is that there are some riders that are going to be at least willing to throw down a really good race for 2nd, 3rd, 4th right behind him. I got to give it to Siegel at the front, still the true sprinter, and it showed dominant speed when he went here for qualifying. I know he didn't put out much effort there yet. He's got a good one ahead of us. The rider right behind him though, Quinn Kennedy, kind of coming out of nowhere, has just been improving really quickly. Great strength, good speed, and of course right behind him Andy Baker had a good qualifier as well. So the front half of this field looking very good to be at the top of the podium. We'll see how the back half of this group behind Campbell Harris decides to race it, as their maneuverability, their positioning, and their attack is going to be very key here on how this race turns out. Of course, our Canadian, the rider in 5th position, also with good top speed. Nolan Adams at the back end, one of our local riders for Dyna Racing. Puts the hand up, says, "That's right, that's my name. I hear me." Getting up to speed. They just saw 2 to go, so about to lose the pacer here on the front. Look for Siegel to watch over the right shoulder here from that sprinter's lane and just guard the front of this field. He may choose to pull up here in this slightly faster group, but I think he's going to continue to keep that low position, and he'll hold on to it, knowing he's got good speed from the front. If he can make this race short enough, here comes some of the moves from the back half. Things accelerating now, bells ringing. Good sprint here as Musso all the way from the back. A good move for 357 as he's going to bring up the speed of the blue line. Siegel still holding the front position here. We saw this move from Baker earlier. The rider in the gray fits right down in the window. He's going to come into the front, forcing Siegel to accelerate. Baker putting on some good speed here. Musso, Baker. Oh, it's tight over there in turn 3, but here comes Siegel. Here he'd be able to be on top of those gears and really shows the kind of top speed he's got. Siegel will come out of the field and clean up. Baker for 2nd. And Quinn Kennedy, number 359, shaking his head, but still should be happy with the top 3 there here today in that quick group. And we move right along to the elimination for the junior men AB. I promise no juniors will be harmed in this race. The elimination for the AB junior men to the rail. Currently now our junior men out for the elimination, currently in the neutral. Out of turn 4, we'll get them started. This race is a race from the back. We eliminate the last rider across the line all the way down to the last rider, so stay in the race as long as you can. I think we already saw who roughly our top 2 or 3 in the endurance that's needed for this race are from that scratch race, but this does allow for some different strengths to be highlighted here, as there's going to be a mix of endurance and sprint every single lap. And they will give the whistle here. Next time around, last rider eliminated. Looks like we may have one still off the back just a hair here, and looks like 407 does get the call. Lee on that lap. .345, Fowler. Trying to find some room right down the middle. We saw him finish near the top in that scratch race. Maybe a bit of a disappointment there to be found out so early, but it can be tough in these fields to know exactly how each lap will go. If you're not at the front setting the pace like Merrick is, the rider with that red helmet, everybody else has got to fight for your position every time around the track. Next up is going to be J.C. Pyle, the big junior there at the blue line, is going to accelerate, see if he can get someone out down the sprinter's lane, look for the acceleration to come over the top, leave out one of the riders down low. That's going to be Tom Herring, number 413, as you see the top sweep over the rider down the sprinter's lane. No surprise, and a good move for J.C. Pyle and the rest of those juniors up high. And another move here. Whoa. It might be our sprinter going down low. Is he going to be room here this time? He does not. 313 as J.C. Pyle went left and ran out of room. Down to 6. Looking at one of our riders from the East Portland Youth Cycling team out the back there, making the bit of a move around the right-hand side. Look down that sprinter's lane again for an elimination. Might be down low. Ooh, might be one of the Jerry Baker Juniors left off the back. It's going to be number 340 there, Hernishev. Down to 5, but looks like we might have a volunteer here, as one of our riders from Epic's also looking around saying, I don't know if I got it anymore. The field is safe this lap. We have one off the back, so we have a volunteer this lap. Everyone in the field is safe. These 4 riders still in the race. And that'll be the official call for number 469, already well aware. Here we look now down to the back straight. Is big effort from both Hampson and Gallagher, trying to accelerate, trying to leave Newman on the back. Spranger doing a good job holding on the acceleration here as well. The rider in green, can Newman recover? Ooh, on the back end of this lineup, trying to make the sprint around Spranger at the back end. He might be able to get it. Oh, geez. 146, that's going to be the rider in green. Spranger just barely caught by Newman. What an acceleration from the youngster from Portland. I thought he was done there, but that kid has a lot of grit and a lot of effort to hold on one more lap, but I think that's all the grit he's got left. He's looking back saying, okay, I got third. Good luck, you two. Both Gallagher and Hampson back in a very similar position as they were in the scratch race. It's Hampson versus Gallagher here. At 1 to go, Hampson will take over at the front. Newman ends up 3rd overall in a great race for him. And now Hampson playing lead out for Gallagher, who has just been on such an improving scale this year, every single week getting faster, in better condition, good overall top speed. Nice showing here again for him. Hampson is also just, I think this season has been a really improving season for him. These juniors just getting brighter and stronger every single week. Gallagher will take this one as well. Nice race here today for Jerry Bicker Junior rider, and again for our rider, Luke Hampson from the team Epic. Junior women elimination to the rail. This will be a short elimination, so scratch race for the Masters 60 plus. Please be ready. Masters 60 plus scratch set to start soon. We've got a short elimination here today for the junior women. The junior open women field now getting started. And the racing now underway. Our 4 riders left in this field. That's the one group we started with. It's going to be a quick one. It's going to be a good one. We've got some great speedsters here today for these young athletes in this group, and being led right now by the efforts of Dora up along the, right above the red line. And coming on here, our first rider, 242 is Holslander, Leah Holslander, and now down to 3. The bell will already be ringing next time around. 60 plus Masters, it's time to be ready for your scratch. Dora leads the field, Scoville right behind her. There's Rutomko. We saw these riders put up some great efforts during the Madison today, and they're back again for more. And let's see who can hold on for one more lap here. Scoville comes up and out of the lane. Good move here. Now trying to make it 3 across as Tomko's accelerating. Oh, it might be down low here. 28 gets the call, so Dora is out. Scoville and Tomko will ride head-to-head here on this final lap. And Scoville from the front looking very strong here to close down this elimination. We'll be able to pick up the win. Number 1 across the line first. Tomko also with a great race here today. Rue in second overall for our Junior Open Women field. Nicely done. It's time for some scratch races. We got 4 of them here tonight to end our program. Fred's race, of course, we got some age-based groups. The Masters 60 plus scratch race is first. They're followed by the Masters 50 to 59. Masters 60 plus to the rail now. Please, Masters 60 plus scratch race to the rail. Keirin finals for Masters 40 through 49 being revised and reposted. You can find that again at /live. The results being reposted as the title revised after further review. Again, the Masters 40 through 49 Keirin finals. As well as Masters 55 through 59. Both of those will be reposted as a revised list on the /live folder. Ten laps on the cards for the scratch race. We'll start them out at turn 4. More racing this weekend for Fred's Racings. Continue on with racing tomorrow and tomorrow evening. So we have some day racing tomorrow as well as another evening session. We'll be streaming all of it live on our YouTube channel. Riders, of course, we look forward to having some more great racing tomorrow as we'll continue on with the great racing action for Fred's Race throughout this weekend. Racing underway, 10 to go for this scratch race now just getting started. So 9 to go. Appreciate looking back at our YouTube chat after a while and noticing some of our longtime fans checking in. It's a little bit quieter tonight. Again, our race a little smaller, maybe attracting less of our online viewership we might normally get, but it's still a great evening here in Washington. Very glad to be having this race. We were looking at some air quality concerns earlier in the week, and we could all breathe a, I guess, mostly breath of fresh air. It's not perfect yet, but we are in the clear here to hold racing. I guess for our most sensitive folks, we may have lost a few to that, but good enough here for us to get in some racing at Fred's Race, and we're excited about that. And of course, our fans on YouTube checking in, thank you for continuing to always tune in and support, and shout out some of our racers here. We love to see it. Group seeing 7 to go. Six to go. Eric Waterman there at the front, number 166. Right behind him, that's Steve Thompson, number 459. Takes over the lead now. On deck, the 50 through 59 scratch race will be starting relatively soon. I've got a long storied career. I'm on that right now. Clip that one later. 5 to go. I'm sure you did. Was Jonathan Lyons there at the front for a moment, number 354. Down past the halfway point now. Our field's starting to sit up a little bit just for a moment. Sort of look at each other. This is a relatively short race, so it's going to be certainly a sprint feeling format by the end of it. Waterman, your winner from the Keirins in this field, now driving the pace once again. Now it's 4 to go. Three to go. Kupar running above the blue line, the rider there in the orange for Phil Soup, kind of looking underneath and moves towards the back as the field rotating kind of quickly through riders. Some hesitation here before the finish. They will be seeing 2 to go next time around. If they come down to a bunch sprint, it hasn't been a lot of effort to try to make this too hard for Waterman. It may just be his race to win again if he's allowed to sprint like he did in the Keirins field. So, in fact, as I'm talking about, Leon's thinking the same thing. Our rider at the front starts to pick up this tempo, thinking maybe this is the time to apply a little bit more pressure on this group. Leon's at 2 to go, pulls up. Steve Thompson coming up alongside of him, the rider in red. Trying to find the ability to move up. He wants to try to reset this thing again, so the attack from Leon's not enough to drop any of these riders, really. In fact, Waterman right there on his wheel. So if you try to do that again, I'm going to hold on for this finish. And getting 1 to go. 1 to go. Thompson's still in the lead of this one now, with Leon's holding onto the wheel. Waterman just has to make this a quick 400 meter to win this race, and he should be able to pull out a nice effort here. Good attack out of turn 2, and there goes your rider for Dyna Racing in great form. Waterman will find the front. He says, thank you very much. We did a little bit of contact there. It looks like something may have happened on the back straight. We've got a rider we're checking in with. Both Leon's and Waterman out in front of it. Not involved there. It looks like they'll come across the line 1 and 2. We'll check in with our rider and with our team here. Up next, though, not coming up just yet, the scratch race for the Masters 50-59 on deck. We're in a short standby here as we check in with a rider down in the previous race and are keeping the start of the next race off until we have cleared our rider and also sort of finished up our conversations on the previous race. Then we'll bring up the next group. We are, again, waiting just a moment for our 50 through 59 scratch race. I appreciate everyone's patience. Our next group is now coming to the rail. Masters 50 through 59 scratch race, please, to the rail. Masters 50 through 59 scratch race to the rail. Lap scratch underway now. We'll start them at turn 4 officially if they're all together. So right now in the neutral. On deck, Masters 40 through 49 scratch race, and then one more race here this evening. Our Masters 35 through 39 scratch race to close out the program tonight. Got one call out on the live chat for Go Kenny. That's good to see. Kenny Williams out there, number I think 114 if I'm not mistaken. The rider in blue for Center Cycles. Currently in the neutral, so plenty of racing still to go as we're now just getting underway. 15 to go in the scratch race. Jamie Park, number 320, takes the lead of this lap. Lodusto up at the blue line, kind of waiting for someone else to take over. Ken Dong will do so down there in the sprinter's lane for a moment. We saw Mike Robson, number 132, what he's able to do back in their last race in the Keirins. So if this race stays together, 132 certainly will be one to watch for top speed in a sprint. It's Austin Hildreth now at the front. It was Andrew Lynch a moment ago who comes out to the back and slots himself right behind Mike Darlene of the Center Cycles team. Those are the back two riders, both in blue with the black disc wheel and not much separating them from over here. Hildreth, though, now pulling up to the back. We've got our rider again in pink. That's Jamie Park coming to the front. 12 to go. It'll be Williams now taking over the lead spot next, number 114. There's Robson, Chip Chase, and that's all the riders in this group. 11 to go. Mike Dahlian on the front for Center Cycles, number 119. So we're taking their fair pulls right now. Everybody taking equal distance on the front and relatively 200-meter pulls before they move all the way to the back of the line. So working together here, sort of baseline format for the first half of this race. So far, at least they will be seeing 9 to go here the next time across the line. The group seeing 8 to go now. Continue to work their way down on the laps with Kenny Williams now at the front. Seven to go. Already down to 4 to go now, so we're kind of coming into the final few laps. Time for riders to start thinking about their approach to the end of this race. So you might see a few riders moving up a little quicker, trying to be a little bit more careful on the lead effort. Mike Dahlian will continue to keep the tempo pretty quick, though, from the front. Not interested in pulling up right now. There comes your speed star, the Keirins Robson at the front. Someone to watch, certainly in this sprint. The rider with that white helmet moves up above the blue line. Eyes on Robson after the way he approached that Keirins race. And 3 to go. Park was making good grounds in that Keirins as well, number 320. Let's see what he can do here in the scratch race. Had some good finishes here this season. Is going to try to set up from the front right now as he's up well above the blue line, watching the rest of the field around him. Ken Dong for Dyna Racing kind of sneaking underneath him at the moment, pushing away a little bit. The rest of the field sort of sitting behind Jamie's wheel. Everybody's holding on now. So at this point, everybody's turned off the afterburners. Everybody's holding on as much fuel as they can for one more big jump. Coming into 2 to go. We're kind of in that critical phase where the long attack might come. This is like a pace line at the blue line now. Everybody's just hiding behind Park. He says, where is the race here? Williams knows it. Park's a good wheel to be on, so he sits with him. Here goes Darlene trying to make this a longer race. Park not willing to chase just yet. He'll sit up at the blue line. Darlene's getting away a bit here, but forcing someone else to catch. It looks like Robson's going to be willing to do the work necessary to start this attack and get back up here. Start the cover, the bridge at least, I should say. Darlene with a great turn of speed here. Might be running away with the race. 1 to go. Here comes Lynch now for the Gene Johnson cycling team, bringing with him Kenny Williams and Chip Chase right there behind him. Look out now for Robson from that Keirin race. We saw his speed. We'll try to do it again here. Hildreth also coming up. Darlene trying to hold on. He still has good position. They're starting to close in on him, and Darlene hold on. I think he can. Darlene still at the front. They let him get away too far. Great jump from Darlene. Will win the race from the front. Nice move. Robson wins out of the field, but I have to give it to Darlene for timing that jump. A really nice move there for Darlene, and that'll be good for the win. Your Masters 40 through 49 scratch race will now come up to the rail, please. Masters 40 through 49 scratch race on deck. The 35 through 39 scratch race, your last race of the evening. And just coming out of turn 4, we'll get this race started. Looks like they're all together. Should hear the whistle shortly for this 20-lap race. And there is the confirmation. Riders are on their way for 20 laps. In the previous race, 152 receiving a relegation in the final sprint for not holding their line in the sprint. So a relegation for 152 out of the previous race. An official relegation, 152 for not holding line in the sprint. 20 laps on the cards here for our current group. This is the 40 through 49 scratch race, our second to last race of the night. One rider to watch there right at the front, Sandoval. Certainly a rider that we'll keep our eyes on here through this one. He's had some good scratch races here with good finishes in the end here in August. We've seen some good Friday nights out of number 101 here, and going to be looking to put on a good show in this field here tonight. There's Captis at the front for Premier Racing, number 368, taking the lead of the lap right now. 16 to go. There's Sandoval at the front for his pole. This, of course, is Fred's race, very first session here tonight. We are hosting age-based groups here for the scratch race. Fred's race is all about getting as many riders out and celebrating as many riders as possible during the weekend. And remembrance of Fred's C. Rayberger, a friend who was all about bringing out people to the track, one of the more positive, optimistic, inviting people in this community we've seen. And we started this event in his remembrance a number of years ago, well over a decade now, I believe. And it continues on in that spirit in this time of year, sort of as a regional championship, a nod to his spirit, and of course, just a fun weekend for everybody to have a place on the podium, more riders than usual, at least up on the podium. And we'll get more of that tomorrow as we continue on with Fred's race throughout this weekend. Just about done with our racing here tonight. We've got two more groups. This one on the track right now, seeing 14 to go, and then another 20-lap contest following this. A little bit good of acceleration there. Ben Flom, no surprise to see him try to put in a dig here on this group. The rider in orange with the blue, about 6th wheel position right now in this field. He is one to make that kind of a jump, so he'll open things up just a little bit, just kind of see how the field's feeling. They respond well, bring it all back together again, and now our riders are all back in contact in this field. $11 to go. That was Mike Westover at the front there for a moment. For those wandering in on a Friday night, this is a little bit of a lighter program for us here today. We did not have our normal big crowd here during the earlier parts. It's just a little bit of a lighter weekend. I think there was also a lot of folks staying inside and away with the smoke, and we didn't have our normal attraction of our normal Friday night racing, but we did have the fun of Fred's race going on. Of course, the beverage garden is still open if you want to come over and enjoy Post-Op Brewing and Locust Ciders. And Jessica's Unique Bites hangs out throughout the evening. She makes sure you've got burgers and fries all night long. So if you want to pick up an evening snack or a take-home dinner, she's got you covered and ready to go. So hang out with us here this evening. If you're on YouTube at home, sorry, I guess you'll have to use Grubhub or something to make it up that we can't get you the food. But enjoy and figure it out how best you can. We're having a good time here at the Velodrome nonetheless. Right now, we're working our way through this one. It looks like one rider starting to feel the pain as Miles Morales is pulling off just a little bit. Group now seeing 9 to go, officially past that halfway point. That's Scott Grinsel, number 181 for Dyna Racing, the rider in pink. Eight to go.
Hey, check it.
7 to go. Andrew Martin there on the front, trying to open things up a little bit. Gets up out of the saddle. 6 to go. The rest of the group will follow in kind. Nice bit of acceleration here, but everybody's able to hold on to the quickness. Four to go. We have the Gerks rider, number 153, moving his way up to the front, putting in some effort. Three to go. Here comes that moment where the riders are starting to really look at each other and study who's going to make the break here. They saw what Darlene was able to do in that previous race, kind of sneak away and make his move. Worked out well for the rider from Center Cycles, and we're already starting to see some here thinking maybe they can do the same. Captus is starting to pull away here. Westover trying to hold on to the attack, so this is starting to spread this field out a bit at 2 to go. Nice move here off the front. Captus and Westover trying to change the dynamic here. They don't want to end in a group sprint. 153 trying to jump up here as well. That's Wesley Pierce getting onto the wheel of the front three, but that gap starting to shrink down as the front group isn't quite able to keep away long enough. This might come down back to a group sprint as our back four making their way up into turn 3. Oh, Captus is trying to hold on, going up around the outside of Westover and stay on the front. The catch happens down on the home straight, and we're all back together again. 1 to go. Captus still in control right now of the tempo. Pierce right on the wheel, the rider in red. Andrew Martin, we saw some great speed from him also in the Keirin. Oh, busy in turn 2, my goodness. Riders moving up track a little bit, trying to find their room. Sandoval able to maneuver nicely out of the mess. Flom leading it from down low, gets caught by Sandoval. Now here comes Martin. No surprise to see Sandoval make a move like this. He'll hold on at the front. Sandoval, Flom, Sandoval will take this one. And it looks like Flom, the rider in orange, down the middle, I think might have been second across unofficially, just ahead of Andrew Martin. We're marking an official warning to rider 368 for dangerous riding in the previous race. Again, just an official warning on the record for 368 for dangerous riding in the previous ride. Your last group of the evening, the Masters 35 through 39 scratch race. Now invited to the rail. And our last group here tonight in the first session of Fred's race underway. One more scratch here tonight. And that's right, we are going to be ending today with a whole bunch of champions because it is, of course, Fred's Race Championship weekend here. Regional championships ongoing, as we talked about all day long. Lots of chances for riders to get on top of the podium. And one more chance here today in this scratch race for these 35 to 39 Masters men competitors. Not going to be waiting on this one. No sleeping on the early laps here. It looks like at least part of this first lap, we're going to try to get some acceleration going. Andy Baker certainly playing with the idea. Who's next to come up to the front now? Let's see. Quinn Kennedy here at 19 to go will take over, number 359. Campbell Harris and it looks like Grant Gibson also following on the acceleration here. They'll pull up and realize that this is coming back together again. No need to go too hard here. Although Baker's not done yet. Still wants to make this a pretty fast first portion of the race. Knowing that he's got some speedsters in this group, maybe wanting to make this quick right away. If nothing else, to kind of stretch this group out a little bit. Kit Colbert now at the front, number 324. Takes an effort at the front, pulls up and realizes that many of those riders are also banding with him. But now here goes Quinn Kennedy feeling like the attacks can keep going. Baker might be looking for a partner to go off the front, and maybe this is what he was hoping for. Trying to make his way up there, but there's a pretty good gap here. It's Quinn Kennedy's show on their own now off the front. So it's now Quinn Kennedy off the front. Baker now Musso chasing. And down the back straight. Still a decent little gap here for Kennedy just off the front of this group. At least forcing this group to stay consistent and on the go here, not letting this get away from them too far. New leader at 16 to go, looking like still committed to the effort. We'll stay on it right now. The field not in scramble mode trying to catch just yet. Just trying to be consistent, calm, collected, and measured on the effort right now. Here comes Baker again at the front, kind of the early instigator. Trying to thin this field down before we get to the halfway point, making it very fast in the early parts. 15 to go. Clicking along quickly here is now Musso, number 357, is trying to help Andy Baker get up here. Looks like it's enough to encourage Kenny to sit up for a moment and try to use the hill to come back into this race again, kind of in the middle of this group. Slower tempo there for about a lap and a half, sitting above the blue line for a moment. Quinn Kennedy just kind of cruises his way back down to the sprinter's lane, and just by habit, it's going fast enough that the field has to try to catch back on. So kind of playing the role of the rabbit here, just keeps jumping off the front. The rest of the field having to jump back up to his acceleration, just almost out of action, it looks like, at 13 to go. Starting to break this field down a little bit, down to a group of 6 at the front now as riders struggling with this consistent tempo. Kennedy again driving the pace, trying to make this race very difficult for the field. Both Baker and Snoblin jump down the sprinters lane quickly. Nolan Adams, the rider in the pink, in the middle of that group. Siegel in the group as well, 12 to go, that's number 110. I mean, he's been making some appearances the last couple weeks. He must have been training for this 20-lap scratch race. They sit up here. This is maybe an opportunity for some rest to happen, but Kennedy's not been allowing a whole lot of rest. Every time he's up here, he just goes again, but maybe needing a little bit more rest time now, letting this field catch their breath as we make it almost halfway through the 20 laps really quickly. Maybe just a moment here for these riders to reconsider. Good speed here for the 35 to 39 competitors at 11 to go. Musso at the front for the Red Kilo Racing team. Get Colbert allowed to get back up into the group, making it now a field of 7. So an opportunity for the Liquid Velo rider to recover. Using that hill, there goes Baker down the hill into the sprinter's lane, and will take a good run. See what he can do here. Enough recovery time. Let's race again. Nolan Adams follows the wheel pretty well. He's back onto this. At 10 to go, we got a bit of a split here between Adams and Snoblin, but that gap should close down pretty quickly as they're able to scramble back up to Baker. Couple riders on the back being overtaken here, as Snoblin and single file line for the rest of this field of 6 follow suit and come over the top. Nine to go. Kennedy again on the front. There's Baker. So we can see who the riders are that are really trying to keep this thing quick and do the work. Kennedy forcing Siegel here to do the work to try to hold this gap instead of filling it. And Siegel's been trying to stay off the lead a little bit. Your rider there for Waterline Racing looks up to Kennedy and says, come on, I can maybe grab your wheel. And trying to keep this as a group of 6. We should be able to here. Eight to go. Snoblin and Siegel looking down a little bit here. Maybe feeling a little bit of the pressure from all this constant speed. Both Baker and Kennedy constantly on the attack. Musso doing a great job holding on to this acceleration too. This could be a good mix of speed and finishing sprint for Nolan Adams as well. The rider that's now 3rd wheel in this group for Dyna Racing. Might be one to watch here at the finish as well. This could be an interesting one. As this has been a very endurance-heavy scratch so far. We're left with 5 now as we do drop Siegel on that previous acceleration down to 5. Now we'll see what one of these riders can make it up to the front here after 6 more fast laps. Baker not going to let this slow down either. So again, just a lot of tempo at the front of this scratch race. Our field of 5 onto the home straight now. 5 to go. Good mix of skill sets and strengths here in this group of 5. Interesting to see how this one plays out. Again, there you saw Snowman looking down the legs a little bit earlier. That was a lot of acceleration early from both Baker and Kennedy. We'll see if he's able to find a little bit more go in those legs for one more attack. Kennedy comes to the front, and he just immediately, again, picks up the pace. Really powerful riding here from this athlete. Once again, at 4 to go, just comes to the front. It looks like another gear gets engaged. Musso looks ready to go as well. Number 357 has been trying to hold on to these efforts at the front. Adams jumping that hole there, trying to make an early run at it. They go up and out of the sprinter's lane to go over the rider, and now it's Adams trying to make this a quick race for a moment. He comes up and resets himself. He'll probably come in behind Musso down in the 3rd position. And 3 to go. It's Baker at the front, Musso behind, leaving a small gap, and Adams slotting into the middle. He just had that big jump, so he'll sit up, and that's exactly when Kennedy is going to go. No surprise. That was the moment he was waiting for. He didn't have to do a lot of work on that previous one. This is a big critical moment here for this field. As Kennedy is going to get rolling, Baker had to try to navigate through that field. He had sat up. He's wanting some break here. It's not going to come, though. Here comes the field onto the home straight. Seeing 2 to go. Lot to navigate here as our field coming through, but it looks like Quinn Kennedy's still in the lead. It's Adams and Baker just now coming out of turn onto the back straight, trying to chase him down. The rider in pink close to the leader, trying to get up there. Baker happy to be on the wheel right now, trying to close down that gap. Musso being left behind, as was Snoblin. Can Baker make it up there now? Adams trying to hold on to the acceleration here. 1 to go. Quinn Kennedy looks down between the legs. He sees the pursuant riders. Strong riding here from 359. Can Baker catch in time? It looks like he's on pace to do so. Adams falling in the wheel. That's what I'm talking about. A good mix of endurance and sprint. This might be the Dyna Racing opportunity for the win here, as he's had the opportunity to stay out of the lead a fair amount. Does he have one more sprint left to come around Baker, or can Baker be strong enough from the front? Adams and Baker here around the corner. Can Adams find the acceleration? He's up out of the saddle. Baker and Adams. Oh, it'll be Baker. Adams giving it to number 103 there. It was a tough race. From the front there, Liquid Velo sends forward Andy Baker for a great finish here. It's championship weekend, of course, and we have found yet another champion in Andy Baker there in the scratch race, and what a fun kickoff to Fred's race that was. If you want to watch some more racing action, we've got more coming up tomorrow. Of course, check velodrome.org for the full schedule and take a look at all the great racing coming up. Beverage garden still open, food truck still here. We are so glad you made your way out to the Velodrome. If you're here again, thank you for hopping in the car, making your way out, having your bike ride coming down here, and joining us for some more great racing here at Fred's Race. If you're out there on the YouTubes, hopefully you've enjoyed the production and are liking the show. If you have and you appreciate the service, hit the thumbs up, share away, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We appreciate your support. Our thanks to our athletes, of course, for making the way out here and also putting on a very good show for us. Our out-of-towners, thanks for making the trip here for Session 1 of Fred's Race. And all volunteers, our officials, thank you very much for your support. Folks, it's been my pleasure to be with you once again up here on the microphone for yet another evening of racing, and I look forward to even more great racing action here for the rest of Fred's Race at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome.